YouTube, Joseph Ulmer here, and today I'm out here in the garage. I've already done some stuff around the house, gotten a few things taken care of, and I'm going to be constructing my own version of basically a Trac-Vac. Now, what I'm working on right underneath me here, as you can see, you'll see here in a minute, is going to be the frame for the collection basket, I guess you could call it. I'm actually just using some old trampoline poles. We took it apart and I hadn't hauled the poles to the scrapyard yet, and I think they're going to work perfect for this project. Now, as we're getting into this, do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please click the subscribe button. And I want to give a shout out to William Miller. William Miller, I just got the notification he subscribed to the channel, so thank you, William. I appreciate every subscriber I get. And if you've already subscribed to the channel, make sure you click the notification bell. That way you get notifications every time I post a new video. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, go ahead and put them down in the comments section. And when it's all over with, don't forget to rate the video. Now guys, my plan is, and I've got my handy Harbor Freight tubing notcher out already. What I'm going to do is I have four of them connected together already, and they're going to be my main lower frame. This one and another one, this other one I've got sitting right over here, are going to be my two sides, and then I'm just going to connect the top of these together with one more piece of pipe. That way I'll put a floor in it, and I'm probably just going to use some scrap plywood, or maybe I doubt I'll use steel for the floor. I'll probably just use some scrap plywood or something for the floor. And then I actually have a safety net off of the very first trampoline we ever had, and I'm going to use the safety netting for at least 3 of the sides. So, and then I've got some, basically it's going to be a rigid mount to the mower. I've got some pneumatic swivel casters. I'll show you all that as we get to it, because I'm actually going to have to build a hitch frame underneath of this to handle the casters, because this tubing's not heavy enough to weld to for the casters. But I'll take you through all that when we get that far. Real quick, I'm going to take you through how I'm notching these with this Harbor Freight tubing notcher. Now, these are 1.5" tubes, so I'm marking them at 3/4. 3/4 is where I want the top of my notch to be. Unfortunately, the smallest hole saw I have that will work with this notcher is 1 3/4, and I'm not going to go buy a brand new hole saw just for this project. It doesn't have to be that precise. We're not doing a roll cage or anything crazy. So now the trick, I've seen everybody do their reviews on these Harbor Freight notchers, and when they come packaged, this clamp is turned opposite this. You have to take it off, turn it. You got to turn it over. Okay, the screw goes on top. Then you can just slide your tube in through the strap. Go ahead and start tightening up on her. And right before you get it completely tight, I'm just going to work it right into my mark. Get my mark. There we go. And then I've just got my little 18-volt cordless drill. I'm going to pull my pin out back here. Now, I have lubed this up with anti-seize, guys, so make sure you do lubricate this. That's all there is to it. Pull it back up. Slide my pin, find my hole. There we go. Get my pin back in. That way I don't have to fight that. Loosen the clamp, out it comes. And we've got a nice, it's a little dirty. It could used to be cleaned up with a flat disc, but it's not bad. Not going to complain about it. And now I've got them all notched, so I may go ahead and get it kind of halfway tacked together. That way you can see what I've got going on, and I'll bring you back and show you. So just hang in there. We'll be right back. Alright guys, So I've got this thing all actually fully welded together now. I didn't just tack it, I went ahead and just welded everything up the way I want it. The way this is going to be set up, this side here is going to be the front. It's going to face the mower. This side is going to be the rear. I got the crossbar on the rear a little bit lower because I'm going to have a door here. And now I have to fabricate the subframe that's going to go below it, which is just going to be 2 long tubes and 1 cross tube that the caster wheels will mount to on the cross tube. And the excuse me, the engine and suction unit will sit up in the front between this and the mower. So, and it's going to sit on that subframe. And then I'm going to have 2 basically hinges here at the rear of the subframe so that you can unpin it here and tip the whole unit and dump it. That way I don't have to, once it gets full, I don't have to reach in there and rake stuff out. And then I put this crossbar higher because I'm going to use the crossbar to actually mount where my tube is going to come up from the blower and blow in. I'm going to actually mount that to mount a loop to the crossbar to put the tube into. That way it's got something to hold it up here and support it. And it blows in as high as it can. That way you can fill it up more. So I'm going to get the subframe set up here on the sawhorses. Get the main cage off of here. So these are going to be my main subframe pieces, and my 2 long spars that are going to connect this whole unit to the tractor, or the mower rather, are going to be 12 inches apart because that's what I have on the back of the mower for an attachment point. I've got about 12 inches to work with. I'm going to get this one tacked up, double check that it's square. Then I'll tack the other one, and I'll double check that they're square to well, this works better when you don't kick what you're working on here. I was doing well right up to the point that I accidentally booted my sawhorse. That looks pretty good. Now, I want to double check one thing. We are 16 and 16, so a little narrow up here. I hook it right there. I go right to the tip. 71 and 15/16. We'll do the same thing on this side. Number 72. Okay, 71 and 15/16. That should give me 10 in between. It does. That means that they're both square. Now, that's all welded up nice and solid. You can take, show put that off for just a second. Now we can take our cage here. Yeah, that's the back. Now I have to shim that up before I drill our pins. That way it will actually tilt. Now I can mark where the front of my cage is going to be, so I can locate my pin to lock it down. Alright, so I've got all that welded. Well, it was further up. Don't know what just happened. Maybe I'm out of square. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be my latch point for the front when it comes back down. Now I need to figure out positioning of the engine. Now I'm going to walk you up here so you can see this. This is my Dayton Lawn Vac, the actual engine and blower off of it. It didn't do very good as a lawn vac, but you can see the 1/4 inch flat bar. I'm going to weld that across there. That's going to be my engine mount. And then this is the output, the outgoing chute. It's going to come up, make a 90, and go in. I may go right above this bar. I've got the room. I've got the room there in the top of the cage. I may go above, like right in there above that bar. That way I don't have as tight of a bend going up and over. But that's the discharge right there. That's the intake, and I want it coming off this side. That way it can just come out and around to the mower with as few bends as possible. And I just took that off because I actually rotated this. This came out to the rear before, but as you can see, if I put it directly out to the rear now, it would be really, really low in this cage. So I reclocked it so that it's aimed straight up, and I can just 90 it in. And I think it should be fine. We'll see how it does. If I have to come up with something different, I will, but I think it'll work all right. So I'm going to mark those and get my engine mounts welded on. I don't want to get back any closer because, as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of clearance here between the gas tank and the blower in the front of the cage. So I don't want to get back a whole lot closer. I'm going to mark that, get her welded up, and then bring you back and show you what kind of progress we're making. All my welding's done, I think, for the night, for this project anyway. I got the casters welded on, and these are just some pneumatic tire. You can see the valve stem right there. These are just some pneumatic tire ball bearing casters. Nice thing is they've got grease fittings up here. This one actually has a grease fitting here and in the end of the axle. Why, I don't exactly know. The other one just has the upper grease fitting in this upper bearing, and then the grease fitting here on the axle. But you can see I got the casters on the back because this is going to be rigid mounted to the mower. That is my hitch for the mower side. I just need to drill a hole straight through here and straight through there. That way you can just use 2 pins to pin it on. And then I need to drill matching holes in the ends here. That's going to be the mower end. I need to drill my holes in those for the engine. And then I also need to drill my holes in here, and the same on that side right there, and then up here for the tilt on the box, which is actually sitting out in the driveway right now. I had to move it out, get it out of my way, because I needed to get my torches out so that I could cut the pieces for the hitch. Unfortunately, it's not the cleanest cut, but I'm going to throw that in a sandblaster and knock all the slag off of it and clean it up. That way it'll pivot a little bit better, because it's kind of rough looking now. I don't know how well you can see this, but now let me turn this around, maybe that'll help. I got the engine mounted. It's all bolted down. I've got the holes for the pins for the cage, or for the collection basket drilled. I got a drill bit. My drill's still hanging over there, and I had one bolt I could stick in here temporarily. I'll have to go get some in the morning. But as you can see, it'll dump up. It'll tip up at a pretty good angle, which should be more than enough to empty the hopper out. My drill batteries were dying, but I've got to drill the holes for the hitch and get it figured out, and then I've got to figure out the canvas and whatnot for this. But so far it's coming together pretty well. I think the first thing I'll have to do is get a floor in here, and I'll do that before I mount the cage. That way I can use the cage as a pattern. And I'll get a floor in here. Once I get a floor in, then once I get the floor in, then I'll do the sides and get them tied in, and we'll see how it goes. So, and I have to make a back gate yet. That was the only thing I forgot tonight. I was going to take a hinge and a hinge here and weld 2 hinges on, and then just a little clasp or something down here at the bottom to hold it shut. It doesn't have to be anything major. But I might hit that in the morning. I don't know how much further I'm going to get with this tonight.
That works.
Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see, it's daylight out here again. It's the next day. Yeah, I got Blake's back here behind me. He's helping me. He's getting ready to cut grass with our redneck Trac-Vac here. As you can see, I've already tested it out. And as you can see, I've already tested it out. Now, the side netting here, this is just trampoline netting. Like I said, we had that old trampoline. I've actually been using this with that vacuum head over top of a trailer to suck grass up for a long time. Now, the back door, I just have a bungee holding it shut right now. And I welded a hinge on here and a hinge on over there. I welded it to that cross tube and then bolted the door to it. And we just attached the netting. You can see right down there. It's just zip tied on all the way around. We just zip tied it to the cage. I welded in a metal hoop. I don't know how well it's going to show up. There's a metal hoop right there. This just slides into. There's nothing holding it in place other than just the bend in the hose. I'm back out here. Sorry, I'm using my good camera, not my GoPro. Now I did add a piece right here that's welded on to support the hose for the vacuum. This is just one big zip tie. The hitch, just 2 bolts hold the hitch on the back of the tractor. Now I did have to drill those holes. That's not going to hurt anything. And then up here for the deck adapter, this I actually made. I tried to make just a bagger for this a couple years ago, and it didn't work very well. At least not with this deck adapter. It kept plugging up. But I had that piece of steel. Those two, that and that there are just square 1-inch square tubing that I rolled on a diagonal to put the pin through. And then that's just duct work. I got it cheap. It was cheap. It was simple. Didn't work real well for the bagger because it kept plugging up. It didn't have enough of a sweep to it. But for this, it seems to work all right. And then, of course, back then I had to make this. Okay. But Blake's getting her all gassed up.
No, I'm airing up the tires.
Or actually, he's airing up the tires. I'm going to get this thing gassed up here in just a second.
Is it done?
And then I'll get a shot of this thing actually working. Spent the afternoon running around, mowing the grass at my house, mowing the grass at my father-in-law's, and I can tell you the one drawback of that whole system is the homemade deck adapter that I've got on there. Finally, the weld's finally broke, and all it was furnace duct work welded to a metal piece that I cut and bent to go around the deck. And you can't hardly weld to the furnace duct work. It's so thin that you burn right through it trying to get any heat into it, and it's galvanized, so it doesn't weld well anyway. But other than that, the system worked excellent. I think once I get a proper deck adapter for it, I'll be able to mow at full speed. I wasn't able to go full speed because the deck adapter would plug up. It was too hard of a bend inside the adapter, and it would plug up. But aside from that, the system worked great. it was picking up almost everything. The only thing it left behind was what would escape around the edge of the deck adapter that I'd made. So there again, you know, the other flaw that I think will be corrected with a proper adapter. Otherwise, as far as a rundown on what I've got stuck in it, the actual vacuum, the engine and the actual vacuum, I think I paid $125 for off of Craigslist. It was a walk-behind unit. The discharge pipe and adapter for it, the guy that I bought it from had already made that, so bonus there. The netting was off an old trampoline. The poles, most of the poles were off an old trampoline. The only metal that I had in it that wasn't off a trampoline was the 1x1 square tube, which I'd had from another project. And then I did buy the casters. The casters, I probably could have gotten them cheaper at Harbor Freight. They're just some Chinese-made pneumatic tire casters, but I bought them at the local farm store. I think I paid about 40 bucks a piece for them. So they were a little pricey, but they work great. I can't complain about that. I didn't have a problem with it all day as far as tracking behind the tractor. The only thing I would do differently, if I did it again, I would make it shorter. I had to leave some space between I could have made the tongue a little bit shorter, but I would have made the hopper a bit smaller, because the problem is it hangs way off the back of the tractor, so you really have to mow. You have to be a little more conscious of where you're mowing. I did clip it and break the rear door at one point. Not a big deal. We just cut another one real quick. The pegboard that I used for it, that was all given to me. So, you know, just odds and ends stuff. So really, I have, give or take, if you include the vacuum tube, the big hose that attaches to the deck, which it's just dust collection hose that I bought off Amazon. I probably have 220 bucks stuck in it. And if you had to buy that from Trac-Vac or DR, you're going to spend well over $1,000. I think a deck adapter online is like $100 bucks. So I'm going to check with some of the local places that sell lawn care equipment and see if I can get one any cheaper through them. But I'll keep you posted on that, guys. Please do me a favor. Don't forget to rate the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And guys, don't be afraid to get out there and get your hands dirty. The only way you're going to actually get something done is get out there and try and do it. This is pretty loaded up with green grass clippings. Any more than that, it gets a little bit heavy. I probably could have cut the hopper size down a bit. I mean, you can see how much is in there. It's actually working really well. I've had that deck boot plug up a couple times, mainly because you get a stick or something and it gets wedged in there funny. You can see this is what we've picked up so far. We got it all loaded on the trailer, and I was just backing in here, tip the hopper, dump it out, which I'll show you here in just a second, and then the little guys have been forking it on the trailer for me. So we're going to go get that trailer empty and grab another trailer and go from there. Blake's already unlatched the gate. It's just a bungee cord.